Here on Water Wednesdays, over the last few weeks, we've been focusing on the South Coast, giving you those updates on what has been happening there with the sewage situation. Now, we know over the last week or so, over the last 7 days, the streets have been dry. So that has been good news. But as we mentioned before, this is still a work in progress and things could change at any moment. But you know what? The Barbados Water Authority has been working up to early this morning on the job, and to give you the very latest about what has been happening there, we have the General Manager of the Barbados Water Authority, Keithroy Halliday. Mr. Halliday, it has been a work in progress. There have been ups and downs. What is happening on the ground now?
Thanks, Jane. Actually, I welcome the opportunity today to provide a bit of an update. Yes, you're correct. We've had mostly dry roads for the last 8 or so days, with the exception perhaps for the last 2 days where we've had some bubbling. And in 1 or 2 instances, it's just been for about 15 minutes, but nonetheless, we've had some bubbling. And while we felt that we have had, and still feel that we've had a certain degree of success, we've realized particularly through our investigations with the CCTV, which in many instances have not been particularly successful, but the other nightly inspections that have been performed leading up to what was happening, what was done throughout the entire night, ending with about 6:30 this morning, what is very clear is that we have a number of fractures, more fractures than we had initially seen, and we have more water intrusion than we had seen and witnessed before. What this is basically saying to us is that the situation is worsening, and that is clear. What it is saying to us is that we continue to be in a race against time, and for what that says to us now is that we must invoke or move to the next steps in our plan. We have a very specific action plan. We've dealt with immediate measures to short-term measures, or rather immediate measures, and then short-term measures as well as the long-term measures. And some of them have to be managed concurrently. But the next step that we must take requires both some of our stakeholders' approval, particularly at the ministerial level. And while I'm anxious to reveal what that is, we'll have to wait until we complete those meetings over the next 24 hours or so, and then we can make that public. But given how quickly this, the state of affairs is deteriorating, or how rapidly we're moving towards a particular point that we had anticipated we had at least 2 or 3 more weeks for, we now need to move to the next step to be able to control what is effectively happening on the street. In the meantime, we'll continue to apply all of these 6 mitigation measures we have in place, which is to contain and to control the bubbling. But we know there's some risk that we may not be able to contain it at all times, and therefore we must move now to the next step.
Mr. Halliday, you mentioned another measure that has to be instituted. What does that entail?
Well, we needed to deal with the blockage, and we needed to deal with a way of controlling or directing the effluent, which is the treated waste essentially. We have to accelerate how we manage or deal with the treated waste, because with the water intrusion as well as the recirculating of the effluent, the volumes are proving to be too much, which means that trying to maintain the bubbling will continue to be challenging. And therefore, we must now take those steps that would allow us to treat the effluent in a different way and not strictly through the force main channel out to sea. And this is what we're faced with at the moment.
And of course, Mr. Halliday will be one of the officials, several officials, continuing to give you those updates right here on Water Wednesdays. And there will be further updates before next Wednesday during the week. You can look out for them on CBC TV8. Now, if you want to view this or a previous episode again, please visit our website, www.barbadoswaterauthority.com, or you can go to YouTube and type in Water Wednesdays.